Today on Gamers Couch,
Renpark.
Renpark.
Finally, a game with a name in English that I cannot, abuse in terms of pronunciation.
No, you don't have the English one there. It's the beer park.
There's no English beer park. It's all Renpark.
It's the beer.
And it's the cheapest.
The beer park.
It's
not
also,
the bear park.
It's also the cheapest German lesson of the day that I can get away with because it's already done.
Voila. So.
I think voila is something else.
No, that's a koala. They are not bears technically, but they're in the game, so they kind of fit.
So it's Wally's brother. Voila and Wally and Waloo.
Before you go any further with your weird thoughts, let's start the...
Wallo?
Start the show. Oh man, this is such a professional
I'll have
start.
a tea and you can do the starting.
The coughing.
Please start now.
Ring, ding, 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 ding. Welcome to Gamers Couch, where Weirdo Daniel and Weirdo Sarah are talking about board games today. As we already announced, it's Renpark, the game that we have on the table. We will go about it pretty much like every week. Rules and gameplay first. We show you a few turns, play a little bit, tell you what the game is all about so that you have an idea if this is maybe something for you. Then we talk about what we liked or not liked, have a thumb rating, and finish off with funny stories and experiences. And for all you guys who very nicely guessed last week, here's your appreciation on the head, like tap, tap, tap. Well done. Of course it was Study in Emerald, the game that was painted on Draw for Initiative, and there should be an high card popping up, not popping, popping up, freaking right now, leading you to the video so that you can put it onto your watch later list in case you haven't seen it yet. Now, since we had so many shenanigans and weird things already starting off, shall we continue with the professional matter of explaining rules and gameplay? That's Daniel for yes, so go. Ahead.
No, I'm waiting for you to cough because I really don't like being interrupted when I'm doing my segment. And you okay? You finished?
You might have a bruise on your leg later.
So, welcome to Renpark, where we are owners of bear. It's not a theme park, but it's like a zoo for bears, and we have to craft, or each bear has to craft the most glorious of all the bear parks that they can bear to park on the table. So in this game, everybody has his own little Renpark starting tile, and it really doesn't matter that much if it's park in Polish, park in Niedwici.
No, it should be Czech. One of them is Polish, one of them is Czech. Hold on. I've got Russian and French. Give me the box and I look it up if it's...
Anyway.
Damn,
so,
I like to... No, hold on.
So
I know if...
So I've got...
No, it's Polish, you were right.
So I've got the Renpark, and this will be my starting time. We also have this luxurious buffet of bears, so it's a buffet, so to speak, of different tiles, because this is one of those tile-laying Tetris-like shaped games where we will fill up our park with these nice little, tetronyminos. At one point I'll get them right. Shapes, right, tiles. We will each take a turn and then place a tile. To get us started, I guess I'll be the starting player.
Yes,
so
you get the WC.
So I'll get this free toilet tile, and Sarah will get a little free
Playground
tile. So
because I'm a kid.
starting with the start player, you will place tiles, and that is essentially what you'll do each turn. You will have to place a tile, unless obviously you don't have one, then you have to pass. If you ever have to pass, all you do is pick one of these green card tiles over here. And that's it. But since I have a little toilet, I can place that. Now, usually when you place a tile, you have to adhere to some rules, like you have to touch the side with a tile that's already there. Since this is the first tile I'll place, I can luckily place it wherever I want. Now, what do I have on my board? You can see there's, also green cards that surprisingly correspond with these tiles here. There's these concrete mixer kind of trucks, which are these tiles. And you'll see that there's other tiles like other grounds we can to expand our park, which will feature these large
shapes.
I'm not sure what this is called.
It's called a bugger.
It's a bugger, yes.
Not to be confused with a bugger.
No,
that's another thing.
It's a bugger. B-A-G-G-E-R.
It's on the screen because I'm really good at post-production.
Yes.
There will be a translation there as well.
In terms of the bear theme we're going here, these are like... as you can see, like toilets and playgrounds and tiles to get a snack, a little river. These are all what they're called?
The Gehege.
Yeah, Innengehege. Now I'm really blanking on every English word that would be very useful for this.
It's the bear house.
Yes,
it's their property.
So these are
it's a condo.
These are interior housings for the bears, and these are the exterior housings for the bears. The Wildgehege, as it is called.
German lessons.
I could easily look this up, but this game is called Bärenpark. That means you now have to learn it the German way. What I'll do is place this tile on my board, and as I said, I can almost place it anywhere at the first turn. However, there's one place where you can never place a tile, and that is this little construction side. These are reserved for victory point statues, these bear statues that will come later into play once you've filled up an entire of these areas. So I'll start, and since I want to have another tile next, I think I'll place it here, and the game works in that fashion. If you place a tile and you cover up anything, you'll get that as a kind of a bonus or payout. So if I cover this concrete mixing truck here with my toilet, which is difficult enough, I can pick any of those tiles over there. Now, considering what I want to do next, I think I'll go with these polar bears here. Now, as you can see, this tile is worth 6 victory points at the end of the game, and the next one is only worth 4. So the more you pick away from these, the less they are worth. These here are just, there's one tile per shape each, so if it's gone, it's gone, and you're out of luck. We have a little more of the regular green tiles over there. But yeah, that's it. And then that concludes my turn, and it's Sarah's turn.
Can you, or shall I, before I can move my park into view?
Before we move on, you see these stacks of extensions to our park here. To get them, you just need to cover the little construction crew on here. So if I had placed my toilet over here, I would not have gotten a tile, but I would have been able to choose one of these 2 tiles and then attach it to my existing park tile. The only rule applying there is it has to touch a side, so it goes either here or there or there. And it may not be placed so that it's lower than the entrance. So even if I would ever get 2 tiles later on, I cannot do something like this, placing it down here. Usually you end up either with a long line or with a square, whatever you want to do. So
I'm going to move them out of the way for filming purposes. They're going to the side because my parcours now comes in. We're in France. It's beautiful there, and the playground will go here. I also want a yellow tile from the CMT stack, which is concrete mixing truck stack.
Okay.
And that concludes my turn.
Okay, so it's my turn again, and now I have this tile, and I thought I was clever and could maybe cover 3 later on, but then I realized, no, this is not allowed. Why? Because I have to now start, new tiles have to connect with tiles that are already on the board. Now I could place it here and get a new construction zone, but that would essentially screw me for the next turn, because then I don't have a tile that I can place. So what I'm going to do instead, I'll move this like so, which is also not optimal, because then I leave this one space here, and as you can see, only the little toilets allow me to do that. But I'll go that way. So I'm going to place it here, and by the way, you can turn and flip them over as you like. So I'll cover a green card and a construction tile. So that means I'm in however way I want to pick them up. I get to pick one of the green tiles, and I'm going for a river tile, and then I can pick one of these two. Actually, I think I prefer this one, and then just put it next to here. So now that I have a new tile, I can start branching out over there, and now maybe I don't need the little one space.
I'm going to cover up my construction crew and also the green card, and I want you. I want you. Da-dee-da-doo. And still in frame. I get a green tile, and I'm gonna take a snack bar.
And it's back to me, my turn again. I have my little water thing here. I'll place it and cover up to get one of the interior housings. And to explain what I'm also trying to do with this is I want to get a cute little bonus if possible. And for that, I think I'll pick up this tile here, because you may have noticed that there's these additional achievement tiles next to the board. Now, this is considered an expert rule, but to be honest, unless you're playing with a little kid, I would say just go with it and use them, because they make the game a little bit more interesting and varied. So these give you extra victory points if you're able to complete the task at hand. So in this case, if I would be able to get one of each of these shapes, which are incidentally all out of this area, I get the top tile, which is worth 8 victory points. If I'm the second one to get that, well, obviously I would only get 5 victory points. Others are getting 3 tiles with bears on them, and it might be that Sarah is going for that. So these are specifically going for the Gobi bears, which are not gummy bears, but are bears from the desert Gobi, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'm very proud of you. You know something in geography and such. I'm very proud. And
this over here just asks you to connect 6 of these green tiles, which I might still do, but it could be a little bit more difficult. We'll see. You concluded your turn? Okay.
I did.
So now I'm going to place my tile here, and this time I'm covering an exterior thing.
It's the garden. It's like the backyard from the bear condo.
And now I'm kind of have to think: do I want to go with something that is worth a lot of points, or do I go with something that might help me with a shape or something? I think I'll go for both and pick up this 8-point Gobi Bear desert tile because I have a plan. And now it's your turn.
I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna pick up this, and I'm gonna pick up. Thinking. I'm gonna pick up. Be nice.
Okay. So now I can place this guy over here, which gives me 2 green and a new area. Actually, I think I wanna.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
I'm going with this guy here, and now let me see that I place it so that you can still see what I'm doing.
Sorry.
And obviously, this is a concession a little bit for having the camera here, but this is.
Can I already while you talk?
Yeah,
okay.
I just need to pick some of these. I'll take one of you and one of you.
I'm having 2 yellows, so I'm gonna take one of this, and another one bites the dust. I'm gonna take you, Pikachu.
Okay. So my turn now is rather short, which is also the name of a character in a German movie. It's from De Wichser.
Oh, totally forgot.
Who have it doesn't matter. Since I didn't cover anything, I don't get anything, but luckily I still have one of these tiles here.
I'm having a construction crew covering, and
you also now have 3 tiles with the
do the thing.
Pointy bears with the high value bears. So Sarah now gets this one. I could still try to go for the second one to minimize the
gap,
the victory point value gain there. But before that happens, I will now kind of explain to you the final bit of the game by placing
You're already there?
This guy here, and this gives me again a couple of cool. What do I want to have?
I'd go for something with a bear. I think it fits the theme.
I think I'll go with this one. This is worth less points, but it would be.
It has a nice shape.
Also,
sorry.
I get one of the other ones, so I have these now. Oh no, I cannot complete this anymore because Sarah already picked up all the others. So
you can go with this one if you can get that one.
No, for this one.
Sorry.
You screwed us both out of.
No, I did not. I screwed you.
Well, I will screw you.
Yeah, of course.
So now something else has happened. I have finished off one of my extension areas, which means I will now be able to pick up the highest value statue and place it on here. And that is as good point as any to talk about how the game actually ends.
Can I do my turn meanwhile while you talk?
While I'm sure.
Okay.
So you can never have more than 4 of these areas, and the game ends as soon as one player is able to fill up all 4 of them. At which point you will then claim your last turn. Everybody gets to try to salvage and do whatever they can. Maybe get another one of those bear statues. There's a variant rule that also then allows you to cover up those construction sites if you want to. I haven't tried that yet. And finally, you will count all the points you have, either from tiles you have on the board as well as the statues, in addition to these achievement tiles that come in here. So it is for once a race trying to be the first to fill up these areas and get the statues, as well as to maximize maybe your points and not finish the game too early. As you can see, all these green tiles are not worth any points. So while they are useful because they're typically in shapes you will have to use at some point, it is actually quite difficult to just use these tiles to fill up your 4 park tiles in the end. But yeah, because for example, here Sarah has some gaps that will require green tiles to fill them up. More often than not, you will find yourself with having just one little space here, which considerably slows you down. So you want to avoid that. But that's the game. It's not terribly complicated. You'll just go through the motions of having the turns and drafting these beautiful bear tiles. In order to fill up your park and make it glorious for a glorious bear reification. I have the feeling that you're...
No, we're not playing any further because you were already at the end. So I thought, well, let's make it as pretty as I can with what I have on.
Yeah, sure. I just hope that...
Make it pretty.
I just hope that now it doesn't come... Okay, now let's count the points or something. No, it's fine. So I probably would have filled up.
Why does he always assume I'm an asshole? I don't know.
Maybe this guy goes over here, or maybe I should have considered putting this guy over here, and then maybe getting a piece that fits a little bit. It doesn't matter.
The snack bar could help you out.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So can you say age and player number and
this game
playing time and such?
This game is roughly 3 months old because I picked it up at Essen, which was in October, and now it's January. And yes. Also, it happens to be for 2 to 4 players. 30 to 45 minutes is the amount of time you'll need to endure one of your bear park adventures. And this says it's for bears size 8 and up, which I think is an accurate size for a bear.
Imagine a gummy bear 8 inches tall sitting at the table.
Sorry. And this time, because I'm always terrible at this, and I should be prepared better, but now I can read it off. This is a game by Phil Walker Harding. And this particular box we got at the Mayfair booth or Lookout Spiele here in Germany.
Likes and dislikes, or any other intelligent remarkings
I think
you want to know?
You, at least I was, and that is, I think, also a like, which
then go with the likes,
which is kind of falling for my own preconception judgment that I had, because I think the last game we played from Mayfair was Colonists, which is a very involved.
Was it Colonists?
I think so.
Very likely. I don't.
But
know.
that's what I had on mind and then I saw. This is like probably a very elaborate simulation of a theme park with bears and stuff. And
totally,
that actually sounded that was what got me hooked and got me into this game. And then I found out that this is a rather not necessarily super simple, but a very light type of dinner game. I would say
almost
that,
yes.
Quick to play. That is nice to look at. Not offensive in any way or form. It has all nice Tetris shaped tiles, which are always welcome. And I think if you were considered a feast for Odin because of the shapes that the tiles come in, but then said, "Oh my God, this is way too much for me," but just want to have something to put these shapes on a board, this could be the game that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And that being said, with it being a little bit faster to play, a little bit simpler, this is certainly a game I can see being played here more often, because that actually gives you a chance to develop a couple of strategies. I mean, not that it's not possible to do that with larger games, but I think this is certainly a game where you can repeat play a couple of times in a single evening.
Not only a couple of times.
But yeah, I would say it's certainly a very nice filler game, or a dinner game, or just something that's a little bit lighter if you're looking for a game to maybe play with an 8-year-old gummy bear. Probably.
Yes, to sit on your kitchen counter for 8 years and be exposed to the weather in your kitchen, and then you can play with him. Sure. No. I really like this game as well. For 2 players, it definitely is in the dinner game category for me.
Category.
But not for 4 players. There it is an opener or a closer for a whole game night, or it is simply a family kind of game. I have to say, this definitely has, at least it feels like it has more replayability than, say, Cottage Garden, for example, because you have these modular park bits that you attach to your entrance that you can always switch up. So it's always different the space that you have to fill always looks different. There's only so many boards in Cottage Garden, and the spots that you have to fill are always the same. Sorry. And that I like that it is different here. Also, if you would show the box insert for all these extra achievement points that you can do, all of them here are all these are all different kinds of victory point conditions, which change.
An easier way to do that,
yes,
which is
thank you.
showing you.
You're so smart.
Them on here. You just pick 3 out of I think 10 in total that are kind of similar in most.
Yeah, but they vary enough to change up gameplay that you're not always going for one particular tile, and whomever gets it first very likely wins the game, and that's not the case here at all. It's also very pretty. I like the theme. It is, like you said, non-offensive, and I do very much like the board in this case. There's all kinds of funny doodles of bears and such, so it's just very cute and very pretty. I like the components. They're very sturdy, nothing warping here like we do have with other games once in a while. I have to say the insert kind of, it's okay-ish, but only if you have the game in your shelf and always transported very balanced horizontally. Don't ever have it in your backpack while you're traveling, because then if the tiles fly everywhere, and that
one trip to a game night, and it's very shuffled.
Just transport it like you would maybe a cake. Or a pizza,
or just don't
something.
Care that much about it.
If you are, otherwise add maybe 10 minutes of sorting through the tiles before you start playing. That's reasonable as well. But
that is actually brings me to one of the points where nitpicky. Well, not it's not a solid dislike, but there's 2 points with the game that I noticed that I was like, one being the setup, because you have to arrange these first of all for all the player count, and then you have to make sure they're arranged in a descending order in terms of victory points, top to bottom, and that's a little bit of for a game that is that quick to play, that is still you end up searching for, wait, where is point number 4 tile? I only have 3, and we.
I did not mind, but then again, I did even mind less with the 4 players. I can see that when you play it 1,500 times, it's maybe a little more with the 2 players because it plays so fast.
But that's why I'm kind of almost hesitant to say this is a full-blown filler or dinner game, because you'll have to search through that, and obviously you can bag up the tiles and keep them neatly together, but then you have to re-bag them afterwards. So it's not immediately put it out of the box and get to play it with, let's say, one of the fast-forward games, for example. So,
but I didn't expect it with this game, so maybe that's why I'm not really bothered by...
The other thing is what you just said, specifically in a 4-player game, is the downtime because in between turns, because you really have nothing to do. Obviously, you can stare at your park and strategize what tile you want to go after next and what you get. But especially in a 4-player game, it could be that the tile you actually were after, that people were...
So maybe not stare at your park, but stare very angrily at your opponents for... Maybe you can, persuade them not to take the tile that you need. Likelihood, almost low. 0. I get you.
But you don't have anything to do in between turns, and it's the typical problem of, even if you are using that time for planning, it could be that the player just before you does something that would then has you reevaluate what you want to do or what you even can do, especially if you were planning on getting one of these tiles, which there are only one of each available.
On the other hand, I found that post first game, there was enough conversation at the table, so that could be one of those games where you have a chat with parents, friends, whatever, while you are playing. And when it's not your turn, you can chat with the others, so downtime doesn't feel as extended as it maybe does when you're silent. But it's probably a preference thing. I kind of like it more with 2 players and in the dinner game category, actually. I did like it with 4 players too, but it is...
I think it is too light to keep 4 players and to justify the time for a...
Not necessarily, but with the 4 players that we had, I would definitely agree, because seasoned gamers that are very comfortable with the heavier games... this could be a little too light, but when you have, say, parents, family, grandma, whomever, or new gamers, casual gamers, this could definitely be a full-blown family kind of game there without feeling too light.
And it is also, and that is something I like, it's a very minor thing, but it has little blurbs in the manual that will explain that these are in fact goby bears, or that while these are koala bears, that koalas are... those are not the koala bears. Where are the koala bears? There's some koala bears on here, over there.
The green bamboo.
That are these are technically not bears, but they're
for the purpose.
But everybody likes it. Literally said, although koalas are not really bears, people like koalas, so we will include them in our park. Which is this is how this should work.
Yeah, the manual was fine. I thought nothing too.
This is there's not much in here, and the game is simple enough, and this gets the job done very well. I think they did a really good job of laying out these icons, so everything is visually, it clicks really fast.
It's very intuitive.
So even if you're more of a visual learner for rules and that stuff, it's becoming very apparent how this game works.
Yeah.
And also, I like if they when a game puts down the setup instructions on those boards.
On the board, yeah. it's all in all just very, very cute, right?
Yeah, it also the thing I got excited for when I just heard of the concept is because I was thinking of like the video games of old, like theme park and those games that let you construct a park and make that. It's unfortunately it's very light and not as anywhere close to that experience where you had to make space for lines so that people can be in a line in front of the roller coaster and stuff like this, or that you had to put a toilet every X. So don't expect that from this game. This is just really a very simple tiling game, but it's still a very neat one, and I think it does what it wants to do very well.
Yeah. So shall we rate?
Sure.
1, 2, 3. Yep.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
This gets a thumb up. As I said, those two minor gripes regarding to the time it requires for setup, and there's just minor gripes.
You just have to have friends that really like setting up this game.
Yeah.
So just surround yourself with people
that is actually
that really like stacking and sorting.
That is something that I might maybe I'm looking at this from the wrong angle because when we play it, usually it's me or one person who's setting up the game, and you don't say, "Hey, you're now in charge of setting up this area," and now my entire park falls apart. And you hand it over. So
you do that with the bigger complex games when it's not the first game of the day, at least in our gaming group,
and if people know how to set it up
exactly, or while you refresh the memory of rule keeping in your mind, you hand out pieces and bits for everybody in the group. But for the first game, definitely, or most of the time, we have it set up before game night starts. So,
yeah.
But I guess it's fine. I mean, I didn't mind setting it up this morning for filming, knowing that actually I could get away with just having one tile of each on the board. Now I counted everything, right, with the correct numbers, and it's actually kind of zen. But then, let's hop into funny stories and experiences, right? Mm-hmm. So we played it with 2 and 4 players. Like we already had said. And I took this game to my mom's on Christmas. We had played it together once before. We started with the 4 players, right?
Yes, the very first time we played this game, we played this as a 4
because it seemed simple enough from the rules. So there we kind of, we didn't have trouble, but it was like, okay, we definitely have to remember you can only put the tiles down connecting to the other tiles that you already laid down. And Christian and I, we sometimes forgot it. Damn, and then it was like, okay, do I need
moment?
Yeah, how many turns do I have to build back now? Do I want to, or no? It's the first test game, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it was only in the first game. Every other game after that, it just came naturally. So I played it 4 times with my mom over the Christmas holidays. And it was a lot of fun. We played with the same goals to achieve. So we just reset and played again, reset, played again. And she got me twice. She won twice, I won twice. But what I found very curious is that she had trouble with turning the shapes in her mind and then building things very optimal, where she was going a lot for the green little no point tiles,
having to fill up the gaps,
or taking them for a huge or a larger space, where I was like, you have the CMT there, you can take a tile from CMT, you don't have to take the cheap green ones, and if you rotate it, it definitely fits. And she's like, why can my brain not compute? So that was a lot of fun to play because, of course, I had an eye on her board as well and helped out. But I found it so curious that, I mean, the board even suggests that you can rotate the tiles because here in this area they're flipped over and this is not a 9, this is a 6-pointer. So it suggests just by the way it is laying on the board. So I was surprised, but we played it, well, again, like 4 times. Didn't get tired of it, but we had other games to play as well, so we only got in 4 rounds.
Well, only.
And we really enjoyed ourselves, and we played with the layout of the park. So having a square, having a line, having an L shape. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is also one of those games where we have one guy in our group that whenever he shows up, it's he doesn't have as much time as most of the others, but if he shows up, for some reason he always wins. And then I threaten him with throwing him out and
restraining order for the gaming table.
and having a restraining order, yes. And but I always forget. This is again one of those games.
Oh yeah, he won. I totally forgot that he won our first game again.
It's like first game, okay, and then
yeah, we felt pretty good with like.
Yeah, I was
50, 60 points, and then he's like 89. He's like, oh, again.
I was head to head with another guy from our group, Christian, and I was like, I think I could be.
You were 1 point apart.
But in the middle of the game, I said, actually, this is probably not happening anyway because he'll win, and that's how it went. So this is one of those games where somebody in the end, even though everything is like how many points a player has because you could in theory see what they have on the board, and
you at least have a feel for
you can see what strategies are going on there. Obviously, in a 4-player game, you are not as much tracking what the other players are doing. But this game is actually simple enough to do that easily in a 2-player, and I would say maybe even in a 3-player game. Which makes it, I think, on the other hand, very also intense if you're in a 2-player game, because then you can see, okay, from these 3 extra achievement cards, what's the other player trying to
and then you go for the other 2, or if you can, you deny early on.
And then there's this kind of
which never happened
overarching strategy to the game where you then decide, do you want to deny, or do you want to go for some other things, or do you just want to cut them short by just trying to finish up your park as quickly as possible and maybe grabbing some of those high value pieces.
That was in our last game. It was 1 move that you had and you would have finished, but I finished the game. And this is something that might be a little spoiler, maybe. I don't know. But I found that it is more likely that you have a very good place when it comes to possibly winning when you fill up 2 of the tiles with the big shapes and don't care for the goals at all, and just use the other 2 tiles of these for achieving 1 or 2 goals.
You mean for getting the high value stuff.
Yeah, and also use these big shapes because they have the higher points there, and you can fill them up quickly. I had 3.5 tiles on one of these plates, and my ground was covered with lots of bears, and that is very quick. It's 3 turns. Bam, 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 put him down next. Bam, 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 put him down next. And then use 2 of these tiles for achieving the reward, goal, victory kind of things. So I found that is helping a lot.
I just remembered that I forgot to say something in the rules section, which is what happens if these tiles are gone. Actually, not only then, but in general, you always have the option to take a tile of the category lower or the lesser value one. So let's say if you picked up one of these here on the board, you could also take a green tile. Or if you have one of these, you could either pick one of these or these, even though you probably always want to go for the high value tiles.
Because they just fill up a lot of space.
Because... just looking at it, these are all 5 spaces covered, these are all 4 spaces covered, and these are 3 at best, and some are just 2 and 1. So you really want to avoid these. If you have to pick up one of these, you might want to pick up one of the ones, because maybe you're going to need it at some point.
Maybe you got to go to the loo at one point in your bear park. Yeah.
But this is not a strategy section for this.
No, but I just
probably figured that out better than any one of us can explain it to you.
You mean you? Because I didn't even try, so I don't know. Don't. It was a backwards compliment.
A backhanded compliment.
No. I don't have Oma-san Konto. That's a story for another game. Or I think we already told it in one of the games, did we?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no. Time Story? No.
No, it was in Time Stories.
But we didn't have that video for Time Stories, was later.
No.
But anyway, it's an inside joke that is very difficult to explain and translate.
And also very difficult to not spoil a game that is all about being spoilery.
Yeah. So, any other wise words, anything you want to say? No?
I think we can this time try with a shorter review. Maybe. We could have ended actually 10 minutes ago, but it's nice of you to stay with us.
A good conversation takes its time.
Yeah, true.
So, enough of the conversation. I'm really starting to cough again. So, which means there's the outro, and then I'm going to have some tea and hopefully not feel as congested. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. You can also talk to us on Board Game Geek. There is a geek list for the Gamers Couch and also for Draw for Initiative, my other board game show. So you can talk to us there as well. And I really like T-Rex is typing. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, well, subscribe and hit the bell button so that you're notified whenever I release a new video. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and want to let us know in a non-verbal way. So take good care, have fun, and we're going to see you next Sunday on this format with a new board game. 1, 2, 3, say bye. Say, I said.
Goodbye.
Bye.